Today, I want to welcome Katie Brinkley. She is the founder of Next Step Social Communications. She also hosts the Rocky Mountain Marketing Podcast. And Katie has been revolutionizing social media marketing with her less is more approach. As a matter of fact, one of the things I just learned about Katie is she doesn't like social media, but that's her job. So she found a more efficient way of doing it to get big impact with a four-post strategy. And so as you're listening in today, um, everybody knows they need to be on social. I think everybody carries this burden of they should be on social more. It's kind of like flossing. We never feel like we floss enough. And so if that's you, listen in. Even if that's not you, if you feel like you've totally got social media nailed, I think you should listen to this. I'm intrigued how you can get more reach with only a four-post strategy. And so with that, Katie, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. So anyway, I the I think what really surprised me was the when you said you didn't like social media.
But you didn't want me to drop a big bombshell on you at the end of the episode. So you're like, is there anything I should know? Uh yeah, I guess this is a bit of a big bombshell considering own a social media agency.
I mean, that's just so bizarre. So I think about from so as a marketer, I think about, something called character diamonds where we construct a character that's kind of magnetic and interesting. And so like you gave me two nuggets in one. There's like 4 points that you try to paint out. And one is the most immediately obvious trait, and that is that you're brilliant at social media. And then you want to have an opposite trait that if it contradicts it, all the better. And you don't like social media. I'm like, this is the making of an amazing character.
Oh, well, that okay, podcast over. I already know, like I've gotten my compliments for today, but it this is the thing, Craig. I Social media is an incredible tool. We all have, if you're not on social media in some regard, does your business even exist? But it wasn't designed to completely replace our human to human life. You have to be on social media, but you have a business to run. And if you're not on social media, well, then does your business exist? So you're in this terrible paradox. And you know, COVID, I think, made it seem like, okay, well, now that we've all been given the quote unquote gift of time of, being at home, because the world shut down, now we're all can be on social media even more. You need to be on more. But really, that's not how it was designed. That's not what it was intended for. It was designed to build community and to build connections.
Yeah. And I think that's, right there, that's such an important point. As I hear people talking about social media, they're trying to turn it into a coin operated device.
Yeah.
Where you just, you plug time in and you get money out of it, which obviously we're in business and we do it. But I think in that you make a good point. We miss the point. We miss the context. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
way of putting it is we miss the context. So help us understand that. I mean, so there's some that would say, yeah, social media is about connecting, and I connect 10 times a day. I do, my 8 a.m. post, I mean, blah, blah, blah. So what is it we're missing when we approach it that way?
One of my favorite features of Facebook right now is the Facebook Memories feature. And if you think about it, let's hop in the good old DeLorean together and travel back in time to 2008 Facebook. And we were writing on each other's walls. We were, there was no feed. We were just, I'd head on over to your Facebook wall and I would leave you a message. And let's not forget poking. We would poke each other on Facebook too.
Oh, I forgot
And it
about that.
was, yeah, and unfortunately, it's back. I'm not really sure why it came back, but it is back. Uh, but this is what we were doing. We were connecting. I had to take the initiative to say, I wonder what you're up to. I just want to write on your wall and say, hey, I'm in town. Would you like to get together for coffee? How it was so simple back then. We were showing up, we were connecting, we were building community, we were keeping in touch with friends and family. And now there's all these different ways of creating content out there, and we have to be doing all of them. We have to be going live, we have to be doing TikToks, we have to be writing blogs, we have to have Facebook groups and LinkedIn communities. And if you're doing all of those things, then how successful is your business really? Because it sure looks like all you're doing is hanging out online.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a social media agency, but I'm a business owner first. So how can I grow my business while still having a social media presence that is going to generate leads, community, and connections? And it's not by posting more. It's by posting the content that your ideal client, your customer, and your biggest fans want to hear you have an opinion on.
Okay. So a lot of people would say I'm doing that. I'm posting the things that they care about, and
But are you?
right. And so how do I know? How do I know if I am or I'm not?
One of the most important things is to look to see who your audience is. And when I start working with a client, so at Next Step Social, we do turnkey social media solutions where essentially you don't do anything. We do it all for you. But this is when we first sit down with a new client, we honestly get off of some of the social platforms. And I think that it's so easy. Trust me, I get it. All you got to do is just tap a toggle, tap a button. There's schedulers out there. You can create the content and schedule it out to the masses. But when you do that, it's still the spaghetti at the wall approach, because I know from looking at my insights who my biggest fans are on each platform and what offer sells on that platform. So up until 2023, I was only on two social media platforms. I was on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I had two very different audiences. On Instagram, on Instagram, I had most of
For
my
those that
audience.
don't have videos, some balloons just came out of nowhere.
I have no idea how that happened on my screen, but that was kind of cool. Kind of threw me off for a little bit there. So I have two very different audiences between LinkedIn and Instagram. Instagram, I have mostly 35 to 44-year-old women, so much so that I think it's 83% of my followers on Instagram are that. Um, and I know where they're at with their business, what offer sells there. Unfortunately, I have a very difficult time selling my agency work on Instagram. However, selling my book, The Social Shift, selling one-day intensives and coaching and workshops, those sell over on Instagram, whereas the done for you social media does not.
Huh.
However, over on LinkedIn, I know that I have a lot of C-suite executives following me. I know that their businesses have at least 50 employees for the majority of my audience there. They probably could use some help outsourcing their digital marketing and podcast production. Those are the services that I sell over on LinkedIn. I'm not saying that you need to completely create different types of content. However, if you're saying, well, I post all the time and I've never gotten a lead, well, maybe you've been pitching the wrong offer, talking about the wrong service. Again, I can share pictures of me and my kids over on Instagram because I know a lot of them are mompreneurs. Whereas on LinkedIn, those posts kind of fall flat. They don't really, not that they don't care about my family, but they don't really care about my family. So this is where you know what content's going to work so you can post less because you're posting the content that your ideal client, your audience wants to see from you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one of the questions that I have, and let's talk specifically about LinkedIn, is, what's the measure of success? And some people say that, likes lead to comments and comments lead to DMs and DMs lead to business. But I know somebody who continually talks about how his least engaged posts are usually the ones that drive business to him. And so there's conflicting voices out there. How would you reconcile that?
There's a lot of different ways to post on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There's different ways to create content, and not everyone consumes content the same way. So if you're looking at your posts and you're saying, oh, well, no one's engaging with this. Well, maybe this isn't really a post that they thought that they needed to engage with. So let's just look at LinkedIn. With LinkedIn, you could, if you're saying, well, no one's engaging with my content, no one's liking it, likes are, eh, it's fine. Likes are fine. I mean, I genuinely go out and try to actively engage with posts, but likes are just such a passive way of engaging anymore. What if you could get engagement on your post every single week that's going to put you at the top of people's algorithm for the rest of your posts going out for the rest of the week? And that's where LinkedIn polls come into play. Whether or not people are liking it, commenting on it, or sharing it, that's fine. But when people vote in your poll, that's an engagement. So how can you ask a poll question to get your content at the top of other people's algorithms for the rest of the week? And it's by creating a very easy to engage with post. Everyone can engage with a poll very, very quickly, and you can learn a ton about your audience, their needs, their likes, their dislikes. That's how I craft so many of my podcast episodes, is by polls.
Hmm.
And it's an easy thing for people to engage with because they want to see what the answer is. Like, oh, okay, I'll just click on this. This is what I think. Oh, okay, 73% are like me. Moving on. But now I have all that data and I've charged up the LinkedIn algorithm to again say, hey, Katie Brinkley's posts, all these people, all these 120 people who engaged with her post, we should show them her next piece of content because they recently engaged with her.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. There's a similarity there in email strategies. When I'm thinking about, when I'm counseling people, coaching them about emails, I was like, this email is going to determine how much your future emails are opened and read.
Mm-hmm.
And so think about what you're sending. Are you sending it with a view? And so it sounds like you're saying the same thing, that your post is not just about that post, it's about prepping to drive engagement on all the follow-on posts.
Exactly. And with this, starting with the poll, it leads people down a customer journey a lot of times they didn't know that they needed to be on.
Okay.
So if, for example, we'll just use you as an example. You want to promote this podcast episode on your LinkedIn, and you want to just go ahead and give the old Katie Brinkley strategy for this podcast episode just to shake things up.
Mm-hmm.
So your first post on Monday is going to be a poll saying something simple, super like these polls should take you no more than 30 seconds to create. How often do you post on LinkedIn? That's your question. And you can have daily, three times a week, weekly, other answer and comments. That is your post. And you're done. You've made people aware. So that your very first post is always an awareness post. Make people problem aware. The next post is an elaboration post. And these are your long form content. So your articles. If you have not started a LinkedIn newsletter yet, do it when you're done listening to this podcast episode. You need to have a LinkedIn newsletter. It is one of the best features of LinkedIn right now because it gets your content seen by, you're not relying just on the algorithm. LinkedIn emails your content to people who opt into it. So you are not just relying on the algorithm, you're actually showing up in people's inboxes. So your elaboration post can be a 500-word article taken from this podcast episode of the struggles that so many people have about feeling committed to social media consistently. And that's why you sat down with Katie Brinkley. She talked all about her 4-post strategy. She talks about awareness and elaboration, but make sure to listen to the full episode because you don't want to miss her other 2 posts that she talks about. So that's your long article where you kind of go deeper on the problem that you made people aware of with your poll that you just posted about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that just engaged with your poll, they already said that they were interested in this. So, well, thank goodness you're talking about this in greater detail. I sure can trust you. Thank you. You thought leader, you. This is amazing. The next post should be your favorite post, and it's your community post. This is what social media was intended for. What makes you different? How do you help people? How have you overcome something? And this could be where, you share a story. And maybe it's just a picture of you with a cup of coffee and you say, I used to post on LinkedIn 3 times a day. And it took me about an hour a day to do all of my LinkedIn posts. And I thought I was seeing some results from it. But it wasn't until I sat down and tried posting less that all of a sudden my reach increased by 1100% and my engagement increased by 250%. And you know what the best part is? I was given 4 hours of my day back. What would you do with 4 more hours of your week back or whatever? And
Mm-hmm.
it just tells your story, or you can tell a client testimonial or how you helped somebody else overcome whatever problem that you've made them aware of. And then last but not least is the action post. If you notice those other 3 posts, we did not ask anybody to do anything, right? We didn't ask them to listen to this episode. They don't even really know about the episode that much. They might have mentioned it in passing in your elaboration article, but you haven't really asked anybody to do anything. And that's where the action post, you've been guiding people along, making them problem aware, educating them further on their problem, saying how you have overcome this problem yourself. Now you can know, like, and trust me. And then action. I actually sit down with Katie Brinkley in this week's episode, where she breaks down how knowing who you're talking to on each platform is going to make it easier for you to post less on social media on fewer platforms so you can grow your business faster. Click comment podcast below and I'll send you the link.
So never include the link in the post. Always have a call to action, comment below, and then you'll DM them the link.
Yes. Well, because now people have given you, the open forum to say, yes, I've given Katie Brinkley permission to slide into my DMs. She is welcome there. I'm waiting for her to show up there because there's so many, like, the DMs aren't the magical place that they used to be because there are a lot of people that are just showing up that you don't know that are selling to you. So if I'm waiting for a DM from you, oh, there it is. Thank you. And now, how great is it? Because you and I are having this conversation. We are just showing up, in someone's car, in their earbuds, but we don't really know who's listening. How cool is it to actually be like, hey, Jim, what'd you think of that episode? Did you try it? What other questions do you have? How long have you been listening to the podcast? Is this the first time you've listened? It'd be great to be able to actually talk to one of your listeners, or you can then take them through. Oh, well, it looks like you do A, B, and C. I'm actually going to be doing a workshop for this problem. Would you like to attend? You can actually talk to the people that are listening to your show and figure out who your biggest fans are, who your community is, and what problems they have so that you're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall, creating content that you think your audience might listen to.
So let me see if I have this. So the first post, now, do these posts run consecutively, like Monday through Thursday, or?
Well, this is where you need to look at your look at your insights. For me, it's Monday through Thursday. For my post, based on my posts, when I can be active on the platforms and when I can remain consistent and when they're online the most. But if you can do this every day if you want to. You could do this every day if you wanted to, this strategy. You could do it 3 times a week and have it be like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Monday again, you're doing the action post. This is a strategy that works just as with the cycle of how to take people through the customer journey.
Okay. And so first post is a poll.
And yes, so it's called the awareness to action strategy. So awareness, like on LinkedIn, would be a poll. And it's designed so that if you notice all of these different ways to create content were different ways of creating content. They're not all just, a picture or a graphic or, a clip from my podcast or anything like that. They're all different ways of creating content because, again, remember, everyone consumes content differently. Me, I'm not a short form video gal. I'm just not. If I do watch it, it's on Facebook Reels, which that just shows how old I am. But I'm not on TikTok. I don't watch Instagram Reels, but on Facebook, I'll watch a few of them. But it's late at night in bed after my kids are asleep because anytime they hear sound coming from my phone, they're like, Mom, what are you watching? What are you doing? What are you doing? Whereas I can sit on the phone, watching TV with them and still scroll through a carousel post on Instagram. I can read an article in LinkedIn or in my inbox. But if a short form video comes on, I have the sound off and I'm just going to scroll right on past that. So you have to remember, everyone consumes content differently.
Mm-hmm. So first post is the engagement post. Second post is long form. Third post is, help me remember what that was.
Community.
Community. Okay. And then the fourth post is the action.
Asking
Okay.
people to go one step further with you and leave social media.
Okay. Very interesting. And the community post, that's where you said you talk about your genius or what you do. This is what you do well, or
Yeah, let's showcase some of your, the you. It could be a story about how you overcame something, a story about how, if time is our most precious commodity, and how did you get more time back by doing this thing? And it allowed you to start hiking again. It allowed you to, work a 3-day work week. It allowed, whatever it is. So this is where you can share your story and bring a little bit of the you into your social media, because again, that's what people are going to buy from. There's going to be something that you say that they're going to be like, "Oh, wow, I had no idea that you did that," or that, "Hey, I also played college softball. How cool. I didn't know that." Or, "Oh, whatever it is, there's going to be something that help people identify with you and say like, that's my person. That's the person that I trust."
okay. Well, this is cool. And I really like this because I do think, a lot of businesses, a lot of business owners, they know they should be on social. It feels overwhelming and they never feel like they do enough. And so I love this because this really bounds it and it has a thoughtful strategy to it. So the next question is, what's the role? Let's say for me as the owner of my business, what's the role for me on social media? How much should I be engaged, involved in my posts versus having someone else do it for me?
Well, the four-post strategy is designed for, well, we do it for all of our clients, but I mean, it's designed for the business owner who has a bit to business to run, to have a simple strategy that can take them no more than an hour a week. I mean, it
Mhm.
really should not take you more than an hour a week, to do your entire social media strategy for that week. So that's 4 hours a month. And if you're spent like most, it's amazing to me. So many people spend at least an hour a day. That's 16 hours a month. Just imagine what could you get accomplished with that's 2 whole work days,
Mhm.
like you could take an extra 2 days off a month that you're
Yeah.
just dinking around on social media. It makes you be very intentional with your time on social media. I'm going in, this is my objective, this is what I want to promote. And then with the extra time, if you want to, guess what? You can be on social media and just engaging with your target audience. You can just be watching content, engaging with power partners, and kind of being on social media the way that it was intended, and not just creating content. I think that we've all gotten into this habit of, I need to create, I need to create, I need to create. Well, someone's got to be watching, right?
Hmm.
So why not watch and engage with your potential clients and customers' content? Give them a little, hey, okay, I see Craig out here, posting all the time. I'm just going to like his post and comment on it. I've made myself, and put it myself in front of him. He's going to know who I am. Katie Brinkley always likes my stuff. I really should check her out. What does she do on social media? I want to follow her. Oh, she has a new workshop, I want, I should sign up for that. So it puts you in front of your target audience if you have the time to do that conscious engagement with the people that, why not get in front of the people that are going to buy from you and just give them a little bit of a pay it forward with their engagement.
Yeah. Well, these have been fantastic tips. And I love the simplicity. How did people reach you if they want to do more?
You can get in touch with me at katiebrinkley.com, and that's where my book is. You can follow me on whatever social platforms, all the things, but just go to katiebrinkley.com.
Excellent. Well, thanks for sharing all that on Leaders and Legacies.